All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, May 17th, hump day. Currently, SPY is up by about 0.5% to 412.30, right above yesterday's line in the sand, which was about $412. So this one is looking bullish this morning. Currently at 70 RSI almost, at 66 currently. QQQ lagging behind after yesterday's really good day, where it was the only index that was up yesterday, about 0.5% at one point, and it ended up giving back some of those gains at the last hour from 328.50 down to a close yesterday at 327.16. So right now it's trading at 328. It's up about 0.25%. So this one is a lagger today, whereas the bleeders of yesterday, which were the Dow, down about 0.8%. This one is up, by 0.56%. And then the Russell 2000, another bleeder yesterday, turned into a leader today, currently up by 0.8%. So yesterday's bleeders are today's leaders, and yesterday's leader, QQQ, has become today's lagger. So that is what the indexes are doing right now. The reason why we got the sell-off yesterday is because Biden is postponing the debt ceiling talks till Sunday while he goes on his G7 trip. So it was supposed to be yesterday that they were supposed to be having the talks, but now it's being pushed back to Sunday. I believe that McCarthy said that he'll be negotiating with some of Biden's people that he's appointed. So they could negotiate a deal before Biden comes back, but McCarthy is saying that he doesn't want to increase taxes. Biden doesn't want to cut any spending. So there's a long way for them to meet in the middle. And if they don't start negotiating until Sunday, when Biden comes back from his G7 trip, that only leaves them with about a week and a half to negotiate a deal. So lots of headlines about the debt limit going on right now. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we do come down a little bit from where we're trading right now, but markets look like they want to head higher so far this morning. With SPY up 412.36, you got resistance at yesterday's high, 412.82. The infamous 413.50 level, which has been a resistance for quite some time, spending a majority of our time within the last month below 413.50. So we'll see if that continues to be the case today. It's only about $1.20 away, so not too much of a stretch. And then let's see. I wanted to look at S&P futures. Currently, we're at 41.43. We've had a downward sloping trend line for the hourly chart starting on May 10th through now. Every time that has tried to breach this level, it's got sold off. So this will be somewhat important for the technical analysis out there. And for the most part, here we've just been trading between 4,100 and 4,180. So we're right smack dab in the middle of that at 4,144 at the moment. So not really bullish, not really bearish, just right there in the middle like we have been all month. All right, markets are about to open. QQQ is up to 328.25. There's the morning bell. Currently, I've got some QQQ call credit spreads open right now. Probably going to close them if we get a decent rally out of this morning. Yeah, it looks like we are starting off green. Lots of volume going into it. All right, they're sending the contracts up right now, back to break even for me. Still have my puts open that I opened yesterday for the 327 strike price this Friday. I think closer to the end of the week, we could see the sell-off, just if we don't have any negotiations for the debt ceiling. But right now, we're just right below 328.50. All right, we're pulling back from 328.50 now. These contracts are going for $50 profit. All right, pulling straight back from that level. All right, I'm going to try to get out at, oh, they're going for 28. Would be nice. SPY's at 412.23, so that's pulling back a little bit here. All right, put my order in for 28. They just sent the ask up to 29. Conveniently, as soon as I try to close it. All right. Looks like they're trying to send QQQ higher here again. Back to where we were. Just kind of fluctuating this morning. Getting rejected by 328.50 so far. A couple times. SPY's actually pulling back a little bit more here. So we'll see how this plays out. This first 5 minutes has definitely been green. We're looking at 70 RSI, so definitely pushing. Definitely pushing bullish. But every time it's hitting about 328.50, it's pulling back so far this morning. All right, I think I'm going to have to put in my order for 33 and leave it there. It's just very edgy with that 328.50 level. Again and again and again. All right. Looks like I'm getting out at 33. Hopefully. No. Yeah, the bid ask on these isn't exactly good right now. They're about 2 cents wide, so getting filled for these contracts has been pretty difficult so far this morning. Getting filled at a good price, that is. It's been very difficult. All right. Looks like that rally was short-lived so far. We're still looking very hot for RSI at 62, so that's not super confirming. Let's see. Yesterday, these contracts were going for like 20 right at the close, which would have been nice to get out then, but I did not decide to do that. kind of stalling out this first 15 or first 10 minutes. Pretty usual the last couple of days, it seems like. We get that stall out first 15 minutes or so, and then we make a break in one direction or the other. If I had to guess, I think we're going to go higher just based on RSI right now. Seems more certainly bullish. Yeah, there we go. There's that push higher. Small push higher. All right, looks like I got out at 33. All right. Just took profits on the 329, 330, QQQ, call credit spread. 32 each. Or 33 actually. Let's see. I opened this for 35, so not much in profit there. But right now that trade is going against momentum, so not too certain in it. Maybe more certain in SPY stalling out right now. Currently trading at 412.25. And this one's pulling back from its morning highs right now. So I think this will almost definitely stay below 413.50 today. If we sell the 413 call, buy the 414 call for today's expiration, you're getting paid 28 cents in credit. So it's a pretty good credit for the assumption that we're going to be below 413. And right now we're dropping down to 57 RSI. So it looks like we're pulling back pretty quick here. So let me try to snag into these. There's probably going to be some supports at about 412 for SPY, but we'll see if we rally off of that or not. New options alert, premium, just opened a new call credit spread for SPY. Expiring today, 5/17. At 27, I believe. Yeah, good. And we're right at that line in the sand from yesterday, which was 412. So if we end up slipping below that, probably going to get an okay sell-off. Not sure if we'll go back to yesterday's close and the lows, which was 410.25. But if we don't have any good news on the debt ceiling today, then we might end up coming back to those levels. mentioned that I did an iron condor yesterday. Did that affect my position? No. I closed that position, I think, 2 hours before close, so I ended up taking a profit on it. All right, looks like QQQ is gaining some strength here. Currently at 67 RSI, so that one's still pushing up right now, whereas SPY is pulling back. Interesting enough, IWM is still up 0.5%, but giving up some of its gains. Dow is the same. And SPY is just below 412 at the moment. So, looks like the leaders for this morning are pulling back. QQQ is actually doing a little bit better. So I wonder if we'll see a flip and inversion between QQQ and the other indices, or we see QQQ leading the pack again today, while the other two end up lagging behind. Or if we see all of the indices drop, that would be ideal for SPY in this call credit spread today, but we'll see. Tesla. Yeah, Tesla was doing pretty good. Yesterday, Elon said that he was open to advertising for Tesla, so bulls are liking that. It's at 1.8% positive this morning. Meta is up by 0.64%. It's not really much of a gain, but has been doing pretty well. Let's see. Google was the leader yesterday. It was up like 3-4%. It's only up 0.2% today. Amazon was another leader yesterday. And this one's leading again today, up 1.7%. All right, SPY's coming down right now. 411.75 currently. QQQ actually did finally pull back. Now it's only up 0.25%. So this is good for our call credit spread for sure. Since IWM and Dow both pulled back, this will lead SPY to drop. Currently at 411.79. Yesterday's open was 411.86, so this will be support resistance to look out for, and then that 412 number above. And the only support I have below is yesterday's close and yesterday's low at 410.25. Kind of thinking about doing another iron condor similar to yesterday's, assuming that we're going to be above 410. I don't think I'll get much credit for it though. Since we're so far above it right now, $2 above it. There's not much credit to be had for that trade, I wouldn't think. No, there's about 13 cents that it's paying as of right now. 12 cents. So it's an okay credit for what you're getting, assuming SPY won't drop by about 0.5%. Looks like we tried to retest 412 there, but got rejected. Now trading at yesterday's open again at 411.86. Nice. Yeah, credit spreads definitely better than what I've been trying to use is zero data expiration scalping. It's a little bit more aggressive, has a lower win rate. So if you run into a long losing streak, it can be pretty rough on you. But using these credit spreads and iron condors on a daily basis, these usually play out pretty well. As long as you're not holding into like the last hour of trading or so, usually you can get out for a pretty good profit. But then, if you do hold into that last like 30 minutes, if yesterday you saw SPY drop from 412 down to 410 in a matter of like 30 minutes, right? So ideally you want to get out before the end of the day, just because that's when the volume is going to start coming in. That's when you're finally going to start getting some sort of move, either direction for the market. So it's best to get out before the close. I think I got out of that trade yesterday probably around 2 p.m., which I could have held for another hour, and it was still trading at the same price. So I could have got that extra hour of time decay, which probably would have been another $50, $100 profit. But to me, it wasn't really worth continuing to hold, just in case you got that 2 p.m. turnaround, which has been prevalent recently. Usually around 2 o'clock is when we'll start getting some sort of movement, and then 3 o'clock, 3:30 especially, is when you get the big moves. All right, QQQ actually fell below 328, so we could have held that call credit spread. IWM is only up half, or 0.4%. The Dow is only up 0.4%. So these two are falling behind after this morning's gains. We're pretty good. And SPY's down to 411.78 for right now. Kind of thinking about reopening that QQQ call credit spread. Now that we're back at 50 RSI, puts her right in the middle between bearish and bullish, which means that it could be neutral today. I'll get a less credit than what I exited for, so that would be kind of a loss on my end. But right now they're paying 25 cents in credit to assume QQQ will stay below 329. Max loss would be above 330. So it's a pretty good credit, 26 cents. I already have a similar trade with SPY, I guess. Let's check the big names and see how they're doing though. Amazon's up 2% today. Tesla up 2%, 2.3. What other names do we have? Nvidia is up 1%. Apple is positive, actually negative 0.5% right now. And below the 171.31 mark. Usually doesn't stay below that level for long, so that could be a fake out. Microsoft up 0.2%, not really much changed. What else? Google, we already did that. Netflix, barely up 0.04%. But yeah, SPY is definitely giving up its gains right now for 11.50. Only up 0.3% now. QQQ just fell down about 20 cents. Usually when QQQ falls like 20 cents, it ends up getting bought back up. At least that was the case yesterday. It seems like every 20 cents there's a new buyer. So we'll see if we get this bounce here or not, or if we continue to flush down for the Qs. That 26 cent call credit spread on Qs is going for 20 now, so that would have been nice. Little quick $60 profit, but that's okay. Still got my SPY Q, or my SPY call credit spread, and the 327 put expiring for this Friday. So if we do keep dropping here, still got some profits to make. All right, SPY's down to 411. So these Call credit spreads are going for 13 cents for $140 profit already. We're getting pretty close to the yesterday low close, 410.25. It's going to be pretty hard to crack that, I think. Let's see, for S&P futures, we're at 41.28, so we got rejected by our line. And a pretty steep sell-off to follow that. $4,100 is going to be the level to watch to the downside if we do end up headed that far down. I don't think that we'll get there today. Maybe by Friday or next Monday we could be below 4,100, but I think today that might be out of the question. 4,100 for SPY, which would be for SPY. Sorry, that was for the futures. For SPY, that would be about 408, 409, somewhere around there. Looks like the dollar index is actually doing pretty well today, up 0.4% at 103. This is the highest that we've seen it in the last month. Last time that this was 103 was, I guess you could count this back on April 3rd, and then before that it was March 27th, end of March. So you're seeing a pretty sharp reversal in the dollar. Interesting enough, you would think with the debt limit issues that we're going through right now that the dollar wouldn't be doing so high, but definitely popping off at the moment and recovering from about $100 at the low, 101 at the low. All right, QQQ's coming down a little bit further, down to 327.40, almost at break even. Only up by 0.05% now. So that's pretty decent 10-minute sell-off. You usually don't get that large of a sell-off for QQQ. Usually just ends up getting bought right back up. But we're headed back to yesterday's close at 327.16, currently about 15 cents above it. So maybe we could get there. I would be pretty shocked. Oh, I didn't even check into AMD. Yesterday, AMD was a leader, like up, God, what was it, 3%? From 97 all the way up to 103. So like 4% actually. Today it's fallen by about 1%. NVIDIA still up 1% today after yesterday's rally. I really want to go short NVIDIA, but timing on it is pretty precarious because this stock just wants to keep pushing every single week. Let's see, if we look at the weekly charts, it's been green most weeks, only a couple red weeks for the past couple of months. But they do have their earnings coming up next week. That could be a pivot point on May 24th. That would be my only guess as to what could turn this stock around. Either that or the debt ceiling, if that doesn't get negotiated in the next couple weeks, that would be pretty rough for the tech names that have been rallying year to date. All right, I'm closing out of this call credit spread. They're going for 14 cents at the ask. I want to get 13 if I can. But I can spare $10 if I need to. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to spare 10. Yep, there we go. Close out of those. That was a nice little 100-ish profit. Closing options alert. Premium. Just took profits on the 413, 414 SPY call credit spread. Expiring today, the 17th. At 14 each. I originally opened those for 27, so 130 profit. Probably could have held those till like the end of the day, but best to get out while I'm ahead. And thinking about opening a 410 put credit spread. But right now, that's not looking like the best idea at 32 RSI, extremely weak. So, wouldn't want to bet against the trend here. But yeah, it looks like my morning rhyme kind of, I don't know if you would call it a rhyme, but yesterday's laggers are today's leaders still, with Dow and IWM up 0.1% and 0.3%, SPY up 0.2%, and yesterday's leader, QQQ, is today's lagger, only up 0.02%, basically a break even at this point. So laggers became the leaders, and the leader became the lagger today. I think IWM could have a lot of pressure to the downside, but you are at yesterday's lows already, only about 15 cents away from that. If you want to get this back down to the bottom of the range, it's about 171-ish. So there's still about $1 that I could sell off. If it does break the range, it might go down to 170, maybe 169, but I would probably give that a couple weeks for it to break range. Thinking about extending the expiration date for my QQQ put this Friday. Giving it until next week's expiration. I think if we do get a sell-off with the debt ceiling talks, I think that it would be at the beginning of next week rather than the end of this week. That's my best guess for right now. Bank of America to the moon. Let's see, back 0.7% today. Yeah, pretty decent rise. Kind of just trading in that range though, like every other stock. Between 27 and 28, it's been a real flat market for Bank of America. What's been really doing well was Western Alliance, up about 10% today. Yesterday, they posted that they have increased deposits quarter over quarter. So today, their stock is up by 10%. PacWest, on the other hand, is only up 6%, kind of flattish, trading at about $5. I could see PacWest maybe falling. Usually the bank sell-off happens on Thursday or Friday. So I think PacWest could have a decent sell-off coming up tomorrow, maybe. Not really sure if we'll see, the usual 40% like we usually get, but I don't know, a nice little 10% could be decent. Do I think NVIDIA will be 300 by the end of this week? Below 300 by the end of this week? If I were a betting man on NVIDIA, I really don't want to trade this stock because it's just so irrational. I would say yes, below 300. I would even maybe put this below yesterday's high at 298.70 by the end of this week. Now, whether that turns out to be correct or not, hard to say. But I do think that the Qs, at least the big tech stocks, are going to be flat at the end of the week instead of continuing to rise. Let's see, SPY's at 410.95. RSI's at 33, so this is still looking bearish. So I'm still hesitant to open a put credit spread assuming over 410 today. It would pay a really good credit, but it would be a very risky trade. Sorry. Well, let's see what kind of credit we can get for it. It's only paying 22 cents. Not worth it to me. Maybe if that was paying like 30, 35 cents, I could take it, but 22 cents is not enough for me to take on that risk. App Store has potentially fraudulent transactions amounting to over $2 billion in 2022, alongside rejecting 1.7 million app submissions for failing to meet the privacy and security standards of the app marketplace. $2 billion of fraud in the App Store. That's pretty wild. Any data today? The only data that we had was housing. Housing doesn't really have much impact on the stock market, at least yet. Let's see. Today's Wednesday. We had 30-year mortgage, which is at 6.5%. You had mortgage applications 6.3% last week. It didn't update. Let's see. Filter for US data. today we had, so the 30-year mortgage at 6.57% versus 6.48. Mortgage applications ended up dropping week over week, 5.7%. Last week it was up 6.3. The bigger news, building permits came in lower than expected at 1.416 million versus 1.437. Previous was 1.437. Housing starts 2.2% versus negative 4.5% for March, and then housing starts 1.401 million versus 1.37. But housing data these days really doesn't have much impact on the market. Let's see, at 8:30 we did end up dropping a little bit when this market data came out, but then ended up recovering and basically trading flat and then rising a little bit pre-market just based on what we lost yesterday. So not really too important to look for. We've seen some pretty massive moves this first 30 minutes of trading. Let's see. We went to 412 down to 410.50, now back to 411.40. So kind of like yesterday's price action, almost exactly. A little bit later, or I guess a little bit earlier for the rally this morning. So my guess we'll probably get back to, 411.86, 412. Probably chill around there for majority of the day. And then the last 30 minutes of the day, you'll probably get a move. Might be a very similar day to yesterday, I'm guessing. Looks like a call credit spread, assuming under 412, is actually paying more than a put credit spread, assuming over 410 by a decent margin too, like 5-6 cents. I guess we are a little bit more closer to 412, but it seems like the markets are underpricing a rally today. So markets seem to be more likely to head to 410 based on our prices that we're seeing than going back to 412 for right now. Let's check the Qs. Currently at 322.44, up now 0.1%. It was down to break even. And that's exactly where it got the support. Right at yesterday's close, 327.16, and it bounced right off. It's at 40 RSI, so it's still looking weak. Like it wants to go below yesterday's close. But that is a pretty strong support so far. Right now I'm looking at the 328 put, and it's only going for 100. So they're not really pricing in too much extrinsic value for it. Let's see. Let me change these numbers around. 328 strike. Today's expiration, the 17th. They're going for about $1 each. The lowest that they got was 92 cents based on the last 5-minute high. And it's almost at 50 RSI, so there could be a decent reshort if they want to keep it bearish on the RSI today. Usually that's not a trade that I would take, though. If it's right at 50 RSI, it could go either way. So, not a confident trade for me. Tesla's up 3% today. Jeez. I guess they really love advertising. 3.2%, up to 172. Trading a little bit where it's above where it's been for the past month. Above 165, that was the support level that it bounced on. 177.50 is going to be your next resistance. Actually, I'll probably call it 173, 174, which isn't too far off. But yeah, Tesla definitely leading the pack today. Damn, QQQ's almost making its way back to 328 again. Very volatile morning. Up to 328.50, down to 327.16, and then right back to 328. Huge moves. Kind of wanted to do an iron butterfly for Qs at 328 or for SPY at 412. SPY is still slightly weak at 40 RSI, but definitely improving. IWM might be a good, it's kind of edgy. Right at 50 RSI could be a good put position though. Right at 50 RSI though. It's not really bullish, not really bearish, just right there in the middle. But IWM usually has more trading action on it, more people sending it up and down during the day than what you'll get for SPY and Qs. Yesterday's range was 172.50 all the way up to 173. SPY, on the other hand, was like 411 to 412 for the most part. So it seems like IWM is a little bit more volatile, which we could take advantage of. But right at 50 RSI makes me question that trade. I'm going to look into another Iron Condor for SPY. Right now you're getting paid 16 for the 410, 409 put credit spread. Call credit spread at 413, 414 you're getting paid. What, 18? No, 16 cents. So a total of 29 cents to assume. Again, SPY between 410 and 413 by the end of the day. It's the exact same trade that I made yesterday. We're at 45 RSI. And right at 411.30. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about doing a 412 call credit spread instead, assuming we're going to stay below 412, which was a little bit below this morning's open. And that by itself is paying 28-cent credit. So it's a good credit for what it is. But you do need SPY to come down probably back to 410. Sorry, 411 to 410.50 for that to be decently profitable. Biden is going to speak on the debt ceiling at 10:45. So that could have some volatility in the next 30 minutes. Parent order limit. And how do you get it to show on the options call chart? Limit order is just placing a price that you want to get the order at. So let's see. If I go to Robinhood, try to open this call credit spread, for example. Assuming SPY under 412. I place a limit order in, how many contracts I want. The limit price is what I want to get the contracts for. So if I want to get, say, 30 cents of credit, in order to open this contract, I would put 0.3. But I'm not going to get filled on the contract because the bid, or what the most that somebody is willing to pay for this that I'm selling to them, is 27 cents. So you would need the bid to go back up to 30 in order for this to get filled. You can do also let's see, you should be able to do a stop limit order on a regular call or a regular put, I believe. Let's see, the 412 call, you could do a stop limit order. So basically what this is, should stop you at a specific price. I think whenever you're placing a long order, though, whenever you're buying the option, what this does, you type in how many contracts you want. You type in the price that you would like to buy at, say 50. And then the stop price, I believe, is actually your exit. So you put your exit higher than what you put for your limit price. You could also open this order with just a regular limit order. Say if I buy it at 50 and then I want to do another stop limit order to close it, this will basically act as a stop loss. So say I buy it at 50, I could put my limit order for 55 and then my stop price, what I'm okay with losing, down to like 45, right? So that means I could either make or lose $5 per contract with this stop limit order to close that option if I had already bought it. All right, looks like SPY's kind of stalling out here right at 40 RSI, so it's looking a little bit more bearish. Past 15 minutes has been neutral. So if I want to use my usual scalping technique, I would go with the 412 put, expiring for today. These are already going at the lowest price, almost. At 164 right now versus the lows at 156. QQQ is just below 328, so that's in our favor. IWM is up 0.5%, that's not. And then the Dow is up 0.27%, so that's in our favor. If QQQ and the Dow both peel off some of their gains here, that would make the SPY trade better. But right now, we're at 47 RSI, right at the highs, and right at the lows for these. So let's see if I can do this. 412 put. They're going for 112 at the moment. Oh, it's giving me the wrong price. I put tomorrow's expiration. All right, so these are going for 109, which is about the cheapest that you can get based on this past 20 minutes of trading. Too close to 50 RSI for me to open now. This could go either way. Lower chance of profit if it's at 50 RSI versus if it was at 40 RSI. That would be better to make this trade. But you could flip these contracts pretty well. They're trading at 111 right now. The midpoint for this candle is about 119, so you'd make about $80, and then 127 at best if it does come back down to the bottom of the candle. All right, so I think I'll make this happen at 115. I'd like to get in lower at like 111. Okay. This candle is opening slightly above. Let's see. Move this over a little bit. 411.50 is the mark that it's looking at right now. And they just dropped those to 105. Okay. So yeah, I don't think I'll make this trade yet. It's the lowest that these contracts have gotten in the past 20 minutes. Before this steep drop, they were going for 89 cents. $0.90, which was when we were trading at about 411.86 to 412. So if I expect a rejection off 412, this could work out, but not looking too promising right now with RSI at 52. So I'll pass on the trade. And it looks like QQQ is going a little bit higher at 328.12. So back above 328 again. Got some support there. And headed higher back to the morning highs at 328.60. Both of these are above 50 RSI, so still looking bullish. Right above it for SPY, only at 52. Looks like IWM is having a V-shaped recovery at the moment. Definitely bullish RSI 58. But I think the best out of these three right now is SPY for a put. That 412 mark is going to be our resistance. Probably not going to get these at the best price possible. They were down to 92, now they're 96, 97. But if we could get a half decent drop, these should be going for like 115, 120, I think. Just want to minimize my risk as much as possible. Get these as close to the bottom as possible. Looking like it's firming on RSI though. They're going for 91 cents, which is a pretty good support back here. I think the problem right now is the Dow is kind of going up a little bit. With QQQ back up to 328, it's putting more pressure to the upside for SPY right now. Good morning, AA. Where do I think QQQ is going to the end of the day? I think that it's going to stay below yesterday's highs, but could retest them at least up to 328.90. Maybe going to 329. I would be doubtful that it would get back to get above 330. My guess though, the line in the sand today seems to be about 328. So my guess, if there's not a lot of volatility like we've been seeing for SPY at least, I would expect this to be about 328 throughout the day. Yep, SPY back to yesterday's open 411.86. Rejection off of it so far, and then you're looking at the 412 mark next. This morning's open was 412.36. So if it wants to make the full V-shaped recovery, it still has about 50 cents to go. All right, really thinking about opening these puts here with that rejection. If this goes back to 412, I wonder what the price for these puts would be. It's about 20 cents higher. So I'd think that would probably drop these puts by about 10 cents or so. All right, now they're gaining their value back as soon as I want to open them. But yeah, so far rejection from 411.86 yesterday's open. Forex trading issue on Thinkorswim right now. No bueno. Good thing I don't trade Forex. All right, yeah, it's already pulling back. So it might be too late for that trade. But pretty clean rejection, I would say. Looking to buy SPY 412 puts. Expiring today. 5/17. The lowest that these contracts got just now was 80 cents. Going for 86. I don't know, QQQ is pretty solidly above 328 now, so that's not looking good for this trade. And the Dow is still up 0.4. So to me, it's looking more like we're going to be above 412 for SPY at the moment, which puts me a little shaky on this trade. It's a good price for the trade, I would say. 85 cents, you're getting a good deal. But trading action is not looking in our favor. All right, now I think we're getting a okay deal. So it's hard to choose between a good deal and price action sometimes for me. I'm going to open 10 of these, hopefully at 85-ish, maybe 86 or 87. I wouldn't be wanting to pay more than 87, I don't think. All right. And of course, they raise the prices on me. Okay. Yeah. So I should have just taken the good deal at 85. But right now it's just right at those levels. 411.86, 412. I wonder if we do a 413 call credit spread, if we can get a good credit for it again, like we did this morning. That could be a better one, if it's still paying decent. Not really. It's only paying 15-cent credit. Not worth it. And then, let's see. I wonder if we do QQQ below 328 today, if we'll get paid pretty well for that. Again, I think that's going to be the line of the sand today, and where QQQ is going to kind of hover around. But if we can get a put debit spread, it's at 57 cents. So it's not exactly cheap. You're getting about a 1.5 to 1 risk reward ratio. Or, no. Yeah, 1.5 to 1 risk reward. Good morning, ice cold. The parent order that I see on Thinkorswim Flexible. Not sure what that is. I don't use Thinkorswim to make my trades. I just use it for watching the price action personally. So I don't really know too much about their order system. Oh, so the parent order, so you can place a limit order, a market order, stop limit, whatever kind of order you'd like. So if I wanted to set this maybe to a trail stop loss, might be able to do that. Not sure how I would set the stop loss. I could try it on a paper trading account. I don't have any cash on this one. Yeah, 85 for these contracts was a good price. They went up to 97 just now. So you could have got a nice little 120 profit. IWM is doing really well today. 0.7%. Yeah, they just sent these contracts back down to 85. Now they're back to 90. So scalping these is pretty good right now, especially with that resistance that it keeps tapping on. I think if we expect QQQ to come back to 328, this could actually still be a decent trade, but I think trading QQQ would be the better way to approach that. It is bullish RSI though, so that's not great. Whereas SPY is just neutral. Biden should be speaking in about 5 minutes on the debt ceiling. So we could get a little bit of volatility in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, Iron Condor is a good fit for today. I don't know if I would want to open it before Biden starts speaking. Maybe after his speech is finished. My guess is probably just going to be standard. We need to get the debt ceiling done. Probably not going to say he's willing to negotiate or anything. Same old, same old. So I don't think it's going to help the market. All right. I'm going to look into a 329 put for Qs since we're trading about 20 cents above it at 328.20. If it does come back to 328, these puts would go for about $2 a pop. Right now they're trading for, I think I have the wrong expiration again. Yep. 115 each. Lowest was 105, and they were trading for 133. So decent risk reward. Could face some volatility once Biden starts to speak, but I think I'm willing to face it. All right, these are going for 116. The bid ask is kind of wide on them. 2-3 cents wide. I think my stop loss will be 105 here. Looks like we're pushing them a little bit lower. All right, I'm getting in at 114. All right. Just bought QQQ 329 put at 114. Again, I want my stop loss at 105. Base on the lows for this candle. All right. Got stopped out there. Actually at 1060. Sold at 106. So 80 loss. And Biden should be on to speak right now. So expect some volatility here. Looks like they just sent those puts back up. a little bit to 114 back to my break even. So I could have held that, but didn't want to face any upside volatility there. RSI is dropping. Yeah, for SPY it's right at 54. QQQ still bullish at 61. So QQQ looks like it wants to keep rallying. SPY's less certain on the rally. Kind of like the Dow is right now at 53. And IWM kind of stalling but still positive at 60. Yeah, they're really pushing into Qs right now. Don't want to face that. Back to the morning highs almost. 328.45 with a top at 328.60, so it's still about 15 cents to go. But edging closer and closer. Do I think PayPal has bottomed out? Hard to say. PayPal just keeps going to new 52-week lows. It's at 60.9, which is the lowest that it's been all year. It seems like every single day this stock is getting hammered. It's the lowest that it's been even in 5 years, which is pretty crazy to think about, considering that they've improved their earnings per share from 58 cents to 117. You would think that it would trade higher based on valuations, but basically anything that's in the NASDAQ that isn't, one of the big names, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Netflix, Meta, anything that's not one of those is just doing terribly. Those are basically the only stocks in the NASDAQ that have been doing okay. If you look at the breadth of the NASDAQ, it's just been concentrated into those top 5-7 stocks. Is Biden on now anything good? Let's see if I can find him. YouTube. Biden live. Biden gives remark to the debt ceiling negotiations. He's stepping in. Nope, not yet. Not here yet, as usual. Washington is always late. SPY is so flat right now, while QQQ keeps going up. Very similar to what we saw yesterday. Right at 412-ish for SPY, and QQQ keeps pushing closer to 329. The whole stock market froze for Biden. Yeah, basically. Everybody's waiting on him. Watch him paint dry. I really don't think that he's going to give any good updates on it. I really think that it's just going to be the same old. Which I would perceive as bearish personally. Unless, he pulls out the wild card and said, yeah, I'm willing to negotiate, but I don't think it's going to happen. Even McCarthy yesterday said that they're too far apart on the negotiations, so unless they worked out something overnight, I don't expect anything different from this press release or whatever you're going to call it here. Thinking about trying that QQQ put again. RSI is coming down at 57 now. SPY's down to 411.60. I feel like SPY is just more certain of a bearish trade than Qs. Especially recently. QQQ just wants to keep pushing higher. One of the big names is always going higher to help the QQQ perform well. So I think I'd rather trade SPY for a put. Probably the 412 strike. I'm doubtful that I'll get a good price on it now. I was looking at them. Well, that is not the right day. 17th. They're trading for 95. The lowest that they got was 84, 83. We're trading closer to 412, 411.86. But the markets are just paused right before Biden speaks. And who knows when he's going to come in and actually start talking. It's supposed to be 10:45 and now it's 10 minutes late. It's a lot of upside for these puts, though. If he doesn't give any good updates, you could see this going back to like 115, 120, 125, I think. Back when we were trading at like 411.25 or so. Got lost again. Oh, man. I'm buying a put and a call just in case. Yeah. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Or just an iron condor. Assuming that's going to stay flat. I'm thinking more of a call credit spread, though. I feel like that's probably the best of my options for right now. I just wish that I could get more out of the 413, 414 strike prices. But yeah, right now we're just trading in the range for the past, 30 minutes. Waiting on Biden. There's always somebody stepping in the camera. Poor man ain't get out of bed yet. He's just walking a little bit slow. He'll be here eventually. All right, back to 411.86 here. Ooh, man, they really dropped the price on these puts too. With them trading at the same price on SPY, they're like 5 cents cheaper. Somebody just came in and smiled at the camera. QQQ is headed higher, 0.4% now. Almost back to yesterday's high. 328.90. Oh, very, very edgy right before this Biden speech. That would not be a trade I want to take. Especially after yesterday's 30-minute fall before the close. That would not be pretty. And we're trading right basically at where we were before the 30-minute drop going into close. Now, I wouldn't think that we would get that kind of price action intraday since it's 11 o'clock. The volume is low. But I'm just so doubtful that he'll give us any good updates. So the sentiment would be the same. But the size of the reaction wouldn't be, I don't think. All right, we're back to 412 for SPY now. So finally broke yesterday's open for 1186. These contracts didn't drop too much, down from 80 to 70. I would have thought that they would be going for the 60s. They're close to it, yeah, 69. Still think that's going to be like the line in the sand for today, though, where we just go up and down at 412. 405 volume is going down. Yeah, it's going to keep going down until Biden starts to speak. As soon as they get Biden in frame, then it'll probably jump in volume based on like the color of his tie or something. And then it'll really start to react once he starts speaking. All right, let's look back into a 413, 414 call credit spread. It's paying 18 cents. It's not even above 20. Whew. Global debt is $309 trillion. Jesus Christ. That's a whole lot of debt. And 10% of it belongs to us. 31 trillion. That's crazy. Considering our population. He's got a pink tie on. Time to sell. Who do we owe it to? Mostly China, Japan. Let's see. And then the American people have a majority of the debt. Let's see the debt clock. I think a lot of it's for Social Security, Medicare, defense and war. Jesus Christ. Yeah, 1.2 trillion for Social Security, 1.5 trillion for Medicare. Let's see, where does it have the countries that we owe it to too? I don't think so. Where does US owe debt? I think China. Yeah, 1.1 trillion from Japan, 859 billion from China. So the majority of it is to the US citizens via Medicare, Social Security, and defense war. You're not wrong there. Do I think it's us causing the debt? I think that it's the policies that the U.S. wants to push, the politicians want to push, that's putting us further into debt. And just, the U.S. government and all the politicians not knowing how to manage a budget. Like if I overspend on my credit card, I'm not going to be able to ask for a debt limit increase. I'm not going to be able to go from maxing out my credit card at 5,000 and just being like, hey, can you actually upgrade my limit to 10,000? Yeah, good luck getting that passed. But yeah, the U.S. government can do whatever they want with a debt. Keep raising the limit indefinitely, infinitely. Yeah, we got rejected by 412 there. Biden is still not on after 20 minutes. That's crazy. Those puts just popped from 70 to 80 cents. U.S. Supreme Court blocks Illinois assault weapons ban. That's not going to move the markets. Major indices are higher amid hopes of a debt ceiling resolution. Additionally, banks rebounded after Western Alliance QDT quarter-to-date deposit growth exceeded $2 billion. So banks are what's probably leading SPY up right now. The Dow is up 0.44%. Qs is up 0.37%. So everything's just kind of the same across the board right now. IWM is the only kind of outlier, up 0.9% almost. But that's after yesterday's like 1% drop. So just getting back to where it was. Maybe he's looking for the podium. Oh, Biden. I mean, people in Washington are always late to every single conference, so this isn't anything special. It is 20 minutes late, though. That is pretty substantial. But the markets are just waiting on him. Looks like we got a decent increase in volume right below 412. Probably going to retest it again, I would think, before Biden starts speaking. Oh, we got somebody coming in. Moving the camera. Who is this man? That's not Biden. Who are you? Are they just setting up the podium probably? Let's see. Let me get my face out of here. Make sure I have my Might Eye. Output set. Sound. Multi-output device. Actually, let me put on my headphones. That way I can actually listen to them. Where's my headphones? Raisin Bran. The man we've all been waiting for. I'll turn my mic off.
Leader has said that. And I'm proud of the progress my administration has made. We've reduced the deficit in the first 2 years by $1.7 trillion in the first 2 years. And I proposed a budget that would reduce another $3 trillion over the next decade. That includes more revenue by asking the wealthy and large corporations to begin to pay their fair share and cutting subsidies that exist in the law now to big oil and big pharma. Yesterday, we all agreed that both the Speaker McCarthy and I would designate senior members that we would negotiate to give our authority to make agreements in detail what we wanted. So we narrowed the group. We narrowed the group to meet and hammer out our differences. And we've done that. In fact, they met last night, and they're going to be meeting again today. And I'll be in constant contact with my team while I'm at the G7 and be in close touch with Speaker McCarthy and other leaders as well. Now, what I have done in anticipation that we won't get it all done till I get back is I've cut my trip short in order to be for the final negotiations and sign the deal with the majority leader. I made clear that, and I'll say it again, America is not a deadbeat nation. We pay our bills. The nation has never defaulted on its debt, and it never will. And we're going to continue these discussions with congressional leaders in the coming days until we reach an agreement, and I'll have more to say about that on Sunday when I have a press conference on this issue. As it stands now, the intention is to go to the G7, be back here on Sunday, hold a press conference, and in the meantime, I've spoken to the Australian leader Albanese, and I'm going to be seeing him at the G7. He'll be there as well, along with the Indian Prime Minister and along with the Japanese as well. So the Quad members will be there. We'll get a chance to talk separately at the meeting, but it's unlikely I'm going to be going on to Australia. So thank you very much.
Mr. President, what about work requirements specifically are you still considering? It sounds like it's still on the table and you haven't ruled it out. Which would you be willing to accept?
Well, I'm not going to accept any work requirements that's going to impact on medical health needs of people. I'm not going to accept any work requirements that go much beyond what is already, I voted years ago for the work requirements that exist. But it's possible there could be a few others, but not anything of any consequence. Thank you.
What message does this send to PNG and to Australia? I know that it was important to you to focus on Asia in this trip, but this is having to be put aside. Is this almost a win for China?
No, because we're still meeting. We still have 4 good allies.
Will you be announcing new sanctions on Russia during the G7?
With President Xi soon, sir?
Whether it's soon or not, we will be meeting.
You will be meeting or you will be speaking?
Looks like that was brief. SPY's back below 412 now. It went all the way up to 412.82. It seemed like that was brief. It seemed like they're getting closer to a resolution from what he said and what I heard. But still not there yet, and still waiting until Sunday to come back. So my guess, SPY's probably going to be below 413 still today, which was yesterday's high, which we tagged just now. So-called credit spread's probably the best play for today. 413, 414 strikes. So that's all I got for y'all today, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow at 9:30. See everybody.